Shalom, shalom, kalam. This is Uziyahu Ben Yehuda with Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew. Let's get into it. Video 6 is you are anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Semitic if. All right, I'm going to go over a couple of points, right? I'm going to just breeze through and just go over a couple of points from our understanding. If you have an issue with this, you know, or you try to use us speaking the truth for like white supremacy to weaponize our truth against us, then that's anti-Afro-Asiatic Semitic hate toward us, which is Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrews. Let's get into it though. You are anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew if you are denying, silencing, discriminating, have an issue with any points listed below, okay? Or if you use white supremacy, power, allies, and privileges to try to harm, mistreat, or delegitimize AASH. 1, Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrews, which is AASH, that's what AASH stands for, right? Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew, AASH, or AASH, are indigenous to the land of Israel. AASH proclaimed that the first man, Adam and Eve, right, Kawhi, were black melanated, as well as Noah and his family, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, before and after the flood. Also, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Yisrael, right? The children of Israel, Bnei Israel, Moses, David, Shlomo, or Solomon, Judah, Yehuda. Some people say Jew, but Jew is not a real Hebrew word, but Judah, Yehuda, Jew, right? Yehoshua, his real name was Joshua, but some people call him Jesus, so Yehoshua, Joshua / Jesus, and the first indigenous humans on the planet Earth, biblically and scientifically proven, were black melanated. And even more specifically, from the Afro-Asiatic region, Shemitic. So the Afro-Asiatic Shemitic region of the Garden of Eden, Iraq, Iran, Kuwait border is where the first man and woman was located. All right. AASH proclaimed that their ancestors was black melanated. AASH as a nation was established in 1446 BCE in Saudi Arabia, Mount Sinai, when Moses received the Torah, right? AASH national exodus from Egypt came in was in 1446 BCE. AASH as a nation received the Torah in 1446 BCE on Mount Sinai, Jabal al-Laws, Jabal al-Musa, right? AASH consists of 12 tribes of Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, not just Jew or the tribe of Judah or the tribe of Yehuda, because that would be incorrect, all right? AASH is a Torah Tanakh established and founded nation that is messianic. AASH is a messianic nation, right, that accepts the Mashiach. AASH used the name of Elohim, right, Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, or Yahweh, and Mashiach, Yehoshua. AASH is Edenic African Israelites from Eden / Africa. So Africa and Middle East together is what we call Eden Echad, the continent of Africa, the continent of Eden. And Israel is in Northeast African. So we are Shemitic Africans, we are Northeast Shemitic Africans. AASH temple was destroyed in 70 AD by the Romans. The Romans come from the son of Japheth, right? Europeans, Greco-Roman, etc. AASH was taken into captivity and scattered worldwide to the four corners of the earth, to all nations. This is the AASH Holocaust. This is our Holocaust. This is the Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew Holocaust. By the Gentiles, which is Japheth, Europeans, white, Indo-Europeans, right? Wrapped around white supremacy, religious, instituted, systematic racism, and privileges today, right? 13, AASH suffers curses, persecution, hatred, discrimination, racism, slavery, defamation of character, isolation, right? Genocide, as mentioned in Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 68, Psalm 83, 1 through 9, Leviticus 26, and Luke 21 through 24. All right, 6b. If you deny Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew AASH beliefs, practices, rights to exist, live, and speak our truth, right? If you deny AASH the right to our cultural beliefs, practices, and positions, that we believe that life starts with man, XY chromosome and sperm, and woman, XX chromosome and egg and intercourse, right? They're coming together, sex, with the intention of man and woman that are in covenant, married in Yahweh. 2a, if you deny AASH the right to our cultural beliefs, practices, and position that a male and female gender are assigned at birth, male XY chromosomes, penis, sperm, female XX chromosome, vagina, egg, right? To deny these things is being anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic toward us, right? If you deny AASH the right to our cultural beliefs, practices, and position, right? Now what? The right to have the highest quality of life, nation, family, marriages, which is monogamy and polygyny. Monogamy is one husband and one wife. Polygyny is one husband and many wives. All right, sorry. If you deny us the highest quality of marriage, which is monogamy and polygyny, economy, education, security, prosperity, sovereignty, freedom, culture, music, prayer, language, land, spirituality, belief, practice, Zedekiah, righteousness, then you're anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic. If you deny the right to our cultural beliefs, practices, and positions that marriage is between a man, XY chromosome, sperm, and woman, XX chromosome, egg, with two forms of AASH marriage, biblically and culturally, right? Monogamy and polygyny. And polygyny is a man married to more than one woman. 5, if you deny AASH the right to our cultural beliefs, practices, and positions that we can, will decline, and won't practice or support adultery, which is sexual inappropriateness with another man's wife, right? All right, wife, woman, etc. Homosexuality, same-sex marriages, pedophilia, child, minor marriages, and sexual relationship with minors, children. We don't support this. We won't live that lifestyle. We won't approve it. Bestiality, sex with animals, rape, forced sexual acts, fornication, sex without marriage, whoredom / prostitution, women inappropriate sexual and immodest acts for economic gain. We're against, so we can and will decline and won't support or practice these things: sex trafficking, kidnapping, bondage, slavery, child sacrifice, cross-dressing, emasculization, right, of men and or being transgender. These things go against our cultural beliefs, and to try to enforce these things listed above upon our nation, right, upon our people, upon our families and children to weaponize these things is being anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic against AASH. We don't condone or support violence or harm against anyone, including against us, AASH, and the groups listed above. If you deny our claim that AASH has the right to our cultural beliefs, practice, and position, and deny that AASH, and if you deny that AASH, that we are not racist, anti-Semitic, or homophobic, we do not have hatred, nor use hate speech. We are not terrorists, nor do we practice terrorism. That we reject white supremacy, weaponizing these terms to put AASH on a hate list, defame our character, persecute us, isolate us, Karen us, okay? AASH, we reject being labeled, and it is considered anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic if you continue to be ignorant to our claims and continue to label and call us Black Hebrew Israelites, BHI, Black Jews, or that we're non-legitimate, as well as denying the existence of AASH Holocaust, slave trades, right? As well as denying your participation or downplaying your role in any part whatsoever in the AASH Holocaust, slave trades, persecution, genocides, or weaponize any movement, privilege, advantage, etc. against AASH. All right, 6C. If you deny Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew AASH were and are Black melanated, true, original, indigenous, ancient, Israel, Israelites, Hebrew, Judah, Jew, Afro-Asiatic, Shemitic, Semitic, African, Northeast African, Edenic, Shem and Ham relationship. So that's what Afro-Asiatic is. Shem and Ham. Ham and Shem, right? If you deny AASH Holocaust waves, the first wave was in 70 AD, which is the destruction of the temple by the Romans, and the second wave was the exile to Africa, beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, right? Zephaniah 3:10. The Indian Ocean, Arab, Islamic slave trade, and the Islamic persecution. The third wave Holocaust was in the 1400s. Transatlantic slave trade, the Portuguese, the Jews, the Europeans, Caucasian, white people, Arabs, Africans, the world, right? And chattel slavery. The fourth wave was Jim Crow, civil rights, KKK, and white supremacy. The fifth wave is the current white supremacy system, structure, agenda, and persecution, including the genocide of our people through police, policies, movements, agendas, agents, provocateurs, governments, health system, educational, economic, political, and religious, attacks and sabotages. You do these things, you're displaying that you're anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew. 3, if you or your community participated in slavery, the dismantling, destruction, etc., in any form of AASH as nation, in any form of AASH as nation, or benefited from Black people globally in the transatlantic slave trade, Black/African Americans, Ethiopian Jews, and Africans in general, right? In media, through the push and promotion of detrimental music of promiscuity, right? Violence. And healthcare, through the avocation or push for harmful health practices. And you don't acknowledge, take accountability, excuse me, as a community, then decree an apology and reverse, recompensate the AASH community, then you're anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew. And that's, you have anti-Afro-Asiatic Semitic Hebrew hate toward us. If you benefit from all or any of the above in any form, including generational wealth, especially because you use the talents and labor of AASH people within systematic white supremacy racism, right? Economic, healthcare, justice system, educational system, etc. This is my quote: Shemitic, Semitic, all languages and people, right, who are Shemitic, Semitic, which includes Shemitic Africans and so-called Black/African Americans. Not just and only European Jewish descent, because that would be white supremacy and anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic hate. The reason why I put that not just and only European Jewish descent, because that would be white supremacy, because what's happening is there's many Afro-Asiatic Shemitic nations that are Black, that are African, including African Americans. But the only time someone can say something is if something, you know, we should be able to, since we are Afro-Asiatic, since we are Shemitic, it can't just be only one group. You got to count all the Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew people, nations. All right, let's get into it. 6D, if you deny Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew AASH culture in any way, fashion, or form, which is not limited but includes our culture or trying to reestablish our culture, right? You're trying to sabotage that. You're trying to stop it. If you deny AASH culture the right to learn and speak our Hebrew language, represent and live out our Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew identity, food, some of us eat vegan and clean meats, cultural, clothing styles and expressions, 100% cotton, wool, linen, hemp, silk, natural fibers and fabrics, blue cord fringes, tassels, etc. Hairstyles, afros, braids, full face beards, locks, twists, waves, natural, nappy, coarse hair, etc. Our national colors, flag colors, right? And formation, red, black, and green, RBG, red, purple, and blue, RPB, and gold and white. Our national symbols, menorahs, Africa and Middle East together, right? Which is Eden and Cod, the lion paw, the outline of the country of Israel, the modern spear-looking Israel, and the biblical borders of Israel, the shofar, right, etc. Head coverings, kippah hat, kufi, turban, royalty crown hat, shawls, head wraps, right? Prayer every third hour. The wake prayer times, it's 5 times a day, right? 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and 9 p.m. The sleep or midnight prayer hours, it's 3 times a night, 11 a.m., 3 a.m., 6 a.m. And those for those who may be up at night, they want to give prayers to us, prayer for our people, please pray at these times. So a total of 8 prayer times in 24 hours. Blowing a shofar during the wake prayer times, right? Listening to shofar app, if we can get that going, during sleep or midnight hours. Prayer direction that we face. Facing ancient AASH temple, Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew temple in Jerusalem. If you deny, forbid, profile, discriminate in personal spaces, businesses, work, or consumer environments, etc. If you deny us freedom of speech to proclaim our Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew, AASH, Edenic African Israelite identity, freedom to proclaim we are modest, heterosexual, consenting adults, exclusively, primary, only, and we are excluding, deny, and not practice or promote homosexuality, pedophilia, transgender, cross-dressing, bestiality, adultery, entanglements, rape, fornication, sexual harassment, emasculation, promiscuity, sexual immorality. Not sexual immortality, sexual immorality. Some people believe that they are a goddess or God through sex. So that would be considered sexual immortality. We don't believe in sexual immortality either. All right. Sexual inappropriateness, kidnapping, bondage, slavery, child sacrifices. We don't accept or believe in none of that stuff. If you deny us having the freedom to be in the fullest capacity to be and express being and identifying as Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew AASH without consequences, targeting, discrimination, penalties, genocide, weaponizing, violated, reprimanded, and blackballed, etc. If you are against what we're saying and you're doing these things, that's anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic hate. And you're anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew. If you deny us national and memorial days, right? The Shabbat, which is Saturday, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Feast of First Fruits, Feast of Weeks, Pentecost, Yom Teruah, blowing of the shofar, Day of Atonement, Feast of Tabernacles, Chanukah, Purim, right? The Exodus, and the establishment of the AASH national, the establishment of AASH Nation, August 18, 2018, etc. Right? The freedom of prayer, our prayer times and directions, praise and serve our Elohim and follow Torah and Zadokah, our moral codes and ethics. Now check this out. Now, one last thing. You are anti-Afro-Asiatic Semitic if you are anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew, if you are denying, silencing, discriminating, have an issue with any points listed below, or use white supremacy, power, allies, and privilege to try to harm, mistreat, or delegitimize AASH, right? And this will be the last one. If there is any harassment, persecution, capturing, unlawful detainment, deporting, abusing, killing, falsifying information, the Karen effect, defamation of character, false accusations from any police, military, country, jurisdiction, national political heads, presidents, prime ministers, any office or position of power in the political, educational, religious, economic, healthcare, communities, neighborhoods, cities, etc., will be considered and deemed anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew or anti-AASH, and you will be displaying hatred, hate speech, terrorist attacks toward AASH. You will be deemed and classified as anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew. AASH will be exempt and not be required to follow or be subjected to any other religious, national, political, educational, community rules, morals, and ethics because of the 5 different ways of AASH Holocaust, right? And persecution and genocide toward AASH and the involvement of the many nations, governments, communities, etc. These people will have to be careful and sensitive with what they say, refer, and do to AASH. All right? Other entities in the political, religious, educational, economic, national, communities, movements, etc., will not be allowed to continue to deny and be ignorant of the existence of the Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew, or AASH, nation and communities. They will not be allowed to be ignorant to our cultural and spiritual practices, beliefs, positions, culture, etc. AASH will look into history and current day to expose the involvements of the many nations, religions, businesses, and communities that have been involved in the many ways of the AASH Holocaust. AASH will be seeking apologies, reparations, repatriations, anything else we can think of from the many that were involved in the Holocaust and genocide of the AASH Nation people. All right. So with that, I want to say Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. And if you have a problem with these things, if you're sabotaging, if you're weaponizing, you will be considered anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic, anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew. Shalom, Shalom.